So today is day 5. Once again, you're here watching me document my journey, document my life on YouTube. This is kind of like my personal diary at this point, because I've gotten to the point where I feel like I've taught pretty much a lot about trading. Now I want you guys to fully understand my mind, fully understand the way that I think and I process things. I am human at the end of the day, and I do make mistakes. I still make mistakes to this day. I just made a mistake the other day, right? 2 days ago, I made a mistake. Humans are gonna bash me about it. They're gonna call me trash. They're gonna call me a scammer. They're gonna call me a loser, or they're gonna be like, "Oh, I could have did better." It is what it is. But yes, I do make mistakes in my life. I do make mistakes in my career, family, friends, relationships. I'm only human. But yeah, this is just me once again documenting my life and documenting my thoughts and the way that I think. I do want to talk about today about the mental strength you have to get to a certain point in life. I think I've had a lot of obstacles in my life that have truly tested me. I'm a big person and a firm believer on reactions. Your reactions to anything is how the outcome of that situation is always going to come out to. A lot of people will crash their car. They'll get upset. They'll get out the car. Yo, why'd you crash my car? They'll scream, cry, get upset. But it's only some things in life that you can and cannot change, right? There's only some things that you can change, right? And the ones that you can't change are the ones that you show no reactions to, right? You show no reaction to things you cannot change. And I go to say this because I'm just looking social media, whatever. And it's not like one of those things where I'm like always fixated on it. I'm not fixated on social media. I don't be on social media like that. But when you see it, it's kind of like, dang, what is this dude talking about? But recently, Monday, I lost a trade for 366K. I got online. I seen this video. It was like, oh, trades by side, blown his whole account. He lost 300K. He's trash. Mind you, I just made over $100 million in the past year, right? I grew that account since May, and I built up. I traded crypto, super huge increase, right? So 300K wasn't nothing, right? I looked at it as like a chump change almost. And it was one of those things where it was like, I'm looking at this video, I'm like, okay, I guess I can't do whatever I want to do, right? I understand that there are going to be people that kind of like, you're not always going to have unanimous love in this space, but it's definitely one of those things where you can't have a reaction to it either. And I say this as well because I do want to dig more into who I am as a person, right? Like I said, most of you guys know my story, but if you don't know and you're new, I grew up in foster care since 4 years old, all the way up until 16. As I was growing up in this foster care, my foster mom was pretty good in the beginning. She got married. I had a stepsister. My stepsister ended up passing away a couple of years after they got married, so like 3, 4, or 5, probably like 4 or 5 years later. She passed away from cancer, and she was pregnant at the same time, so she gave birth and then died right after because of the cancer. And that was like my best friend. That was literally like my best friend. She taught me like a lot about growing up as a kid. She taught me a lot because my foster mom and the husband always worked a lot, so it was just me and my sister. And I had a little brother too as well, but he wasn't, like, he was way younger than me, so it was like talking to a brick wall. So she was like almost the same age as me, like 2, 3 years above me, right? So we got along. She passed away. My foster mom ended up, getting a divorce, and it was just a lot going on. The husband became an alcoholic. I've been in a car where he's drinking and driving. I've been in situations where they're fighting and stuff, and it just got worse after that. Like, then we moved away, so it was me, my brother, and my foster mom. And yeah, like we moved away. I ended up acting out in school. I tried to get into a gang, not even try, but I was putting myself around a bunch of gang people, gang members and stuff, trying to learn like where do I fit in at. Got into a bunch of fights because of that. When I got into a lot of fights, I got kicked out of school the first time in eighth grade, and this was like basically me being rebellious. But it didn't get worse until I actually moved to Atlanta. So in the beginning, I kind of lived like down south, way down south to Georgia, and then we moved up north to Atlanta, thinking that it was going to be a little bit better because it was the city, but it just got worse. I started smoking. I started, hanging around with people with guns and drugs, and it got worse. I started fighting more, and I started fighting more, and kept getting in trouble, kept getting in trouble. And at home, it was like I would go home to also negativity too as well. So it was like negative on both ends. Like I would go home, we would have no food in the fridge. We would have no lights on. The toilets wouldn't work. Like some of you guys, like if you watch this video, some of you guys know like you got to pour a bucket of water down the drain so that the toilet can flush, or pour it at the top of the thing so the toilet can flush, or you got to boil some water to take a hot shower or a hot bath, or like sometimes you got to use the canned milk to drink, to eat cereal or whatever the case might be. Or, like take one piece of bread and fold it to make a whole sandwich just so you can eat and preserve the bread, because most of the money that she was using, so the government gives people that are foster parents, they give them money to take care of the kids every month. They give them enough so they can take care of the kids. It's like a couple of thousand. I don't know how much it is now, but it's like a couple of thousand. Take care of the kid every month. Boom. It's 2 kids, so she was getting a good paycheck. She was using that to like party, do drugs, hang around other guys. So me and my brother used to come home and there would be not enough food in the fridge. And we used to have to go steal out of like Dollar Generals, Family Dollars, Quick Trips, stuff like that, just to feed ourselves, right? Steal little snacks, preserve it for as long as possible. Like we used to like break up the noodles to preserve all the noodles and cook them one at a time, put the pack back in the box, right? And all this was just building up in me. I just was building up anger as well. I didn't grow up with a dad either as well, and I didn't grow up with my mom, my biological mom. At this time, my foster mom was telling me that my biological mom and biological dad didn't even want me. They didn't love me, right? My dad left when I was a baby, and then my mom didn't want to take care of me, so she gave me away. That's what I was told as a kid. So all this was just built up anger, and then I eventually just kept getting into more and more fights, and then I got expelled from school, which is why we went up north. And then I got into fights more, and then got expelled again, right? I got expelled 8th grade and 9th grade year. 10th grade year was my final expel. That was my final expellment. Is that a word? I don't think that's a word. But that was my last time getting expelled. And the crazy thing is, I'm a very smart kid. Like, I was book smart for sure. I'm really good at math. Still to this day, I feel like I'm pretty decent at math. Not with the whole Pythagorean theorem stuff and geometry, but I'm pretty good with math. If you give me a refresher, I'll probably remember the whole thing again. But I was making all A's and a couple B's because of science. I didn't really like science like that. But I just, started to lash out, got in trouble, ended up getting expelled, and then I was on an ankle monitor. Now, at this time in high school, I had a couple of friends that I was hanging around with, like a bunch of people that I would just be around with. I can't believe I can hear that car from right here. But those people weren't my friends, but I didn't know at the time. I even got jumped by a few of their friends' before too. Crazy story. Maybe I'll tell that another day, but I ended up going to juvenile. But the reason why I went to juvenile so fast at this time, because of fighting is like, okay, fight, you get in trouble, whatever. But because I was hanging around these people, they was charging us as it was a whole gang charge. So it was like multiple people, 6 people in a group. They counted as a gang charge, especially in Atlanta, right? Whether you're a gang or not, right? And I ended up breaking my ankle monitor, violating my probation, and then going to jail at 13. And I spent over a year and a half there. I got out when I was 15, and I was just going through it, bro. I've been through mental hospitals, I've been through suicide preventions and all types of stuff. Actually, why I got this first tattoo. So this tattoo right here is Baby NASA. If you see here, this is Baby NASA. This is my first tattoo when I turned 18. The reason I got it too was to cover up the scars that I used to have from cutting myself. I used to have a bunch of cuts, and I used to just live like, at the time it was like one of those things where it was like, like, I don't know why I did that. Still to this day, I don't understand why I did that, but I just was in a very dark place and dark energy. And I got out, and being in that cell for like a year and a half really made me think like, dang, let me see if there's more to life, right? Let me see if there's more out there that I can chase, right? So then I was 15. I was able to pick up a couple jobs, or I was able to pick a job at the time, which is Checkers. I worked that job for a couple of weeks, and then I come back home one day, and my foster mom clears out the whole crib, and she's gone. Right? I call her, I text her, it's not going through, and then she finally texts me back saying, hey, I'm in, a few states over down west, right? She's all the way damn near going to LA. She's like, oh yeah, we moved out, but we're not taking you with us because you're like a bad influence, you're a bad vibe, and we don't want that for our new life. And I was basically stranded out in Atlanta pretty much by myself because of, like, I was a negative influence, right? And although I wanted to change inside, even though I wanted to change inside, I knew I wanted to change. Nobody else knew that I wanted to change, or people will not believe you until it's actually done. Like, once you actually do it, then it's actually done. But sometimes, even when you do something in front of people, or even like if you do it and pop out, people still won't believe you, right? So all this happens, and then I pick up two jobs. I work at Walmart, or I work at McDonald's, and then I worked at Taco Bell. And I picked up these two jobs to kind of stay off the streets. I told them my situation. They worked out with me, and let me know like, hey, this is what we can do for you. Because I wasn't going to school either, so I was kind of like not going to school, which would have got me in trouble and back in the system. So this was actually a good way to kind of stay out. And I just told them like, I just want to work. Like, I won't cause a bother or anything. I'll just be in the back working whatever you need me to do. I just need to stay off the streets. So as all this is happening, I'm just like, okay, boom. I'm gonna pick up this job. I'm gonna work my ass off. I do that for 8 months, but I'm super depressed because I'm waking up and I feel like I'm not chasing anything. Like, I feel like I had no goals. I was just kind of doing it. My mind was playing tricks and saying like, this progress that I think I'm doing, I'm not really doing. Like, I didn't feel any progress in my life. It kind of felt like I was just in a loophole. I was in this just same loop, same dream over and over and over and over and over and over. I'm just like, damn, I really hate this life. I hate my life. I hate this. I hate this. Like, I'm building that anger I had when I was 13 again. I'm just building it again. Like, my fucking family left. I don't have my brother. Like I gotta work this stupid job, and like, I don't want to do this. I was just building up a bunch of anger. I'm homeless. Boom. I'm just thinking like, dang, I don't really want to do this. So then, like, at that moment in time, it was like the best thing I could do was try something, right? So the best thing that I could try was to reach out to my biological mom. Facebook is one hell of a place to find older people and people in general. So I search Facebook and I find my mom's profile. I text it. I'm like, hey, you haven't been here pretty much my whole life. But I just want to say, like, yo, I'm homeless. I need help. I need you. Like, I have nowhere else to go and nowhere else to turn to. I knocked on so many of my friends' doors. Nobody picked up, or people that did pick up, they said they couldn't help me out. I couldn't stay with them a little bit, whatever the case might be. And it was just one of those things where I was like, damn, this is crazy. I have nobody to turn to. I'm literally back against the wall. And my mom eventually ended up answering that text message, and she was like, okay, where are you at? I'm going to come pick you up wherever you're at. I'm going to drive to you, whatever I got to do. I'm like, yo, here's where I'm at right now. Send her my location. She's like, oh, I'm 15 minutes away from you. I'm bringing a truck. She brings a truck. turns that 15-minute drive into like 5-10 minutes. She pulls up and she's like, yo, put your bags in the car, whatever. Gives me a long hug, and she's like crying. I'm crying. I'm dirty. I'm super dirty. Hair messed up. All types of stuff. I was looking bad. And I remember that moment looking out that window, and I'm like, dang. All I did was just one thing, and now I'm like, this is changing. It feels crazy. But it didn't feel crazy in that moment until I grew up and I looked back at it. Like, my mom definitely saved my life, because I was probably on the edge of being suicidal for sure. So yeah, all this happens. I move in with my mom. I get reunited with my brother and my sister. So now it's my brother, my sister, my mom. And my mom's taking care of us. And she couldn't get jobs at the time. It was hard for her to get jobs at the time. So it was like, okay, I gotta, help my mom's out and see what I can do to help her out and get her in her good position. So I would just, I picked up a Taco Bell job because fast food was the easiest thing and the only thing that I knew. So I picked up a Taco Bell job. I started working that. I'm like, okay, boom, cool. I'm giving her some checks. But I really couldn't really do too much after that. Like, I probably have enough money to order like one DoorDash order or something, right? So boom, all this happens, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should try to find something to do like with my life. So I go online, and I'm looking online. I'm trying to find out like, what am I gonna do with my life, right? Boom, I tried TikTok, I tried Amazon, I tried e-coms. I tried pretty much everything, YouTube and stuff like that. Streaming before it was very popular. Like, I tried a lot, and nothing really was like my thing, right? And that's how I grew up in school. Like, I always tried to fit in with the kids because I was trying to find what my thing was. Like, I wasn't really the best at music. I wasn't the best at football, basketball, and stuff like that. Or like, drawing. Like, I knew how to draw, but not as good as I wanted to be, right? And there was a lot of things I didn't fit in with. So, coming now, it's just like I always was seeking validation from others, but I was chasing the wrong thing, right? I was chasing the wrong thing. So as I try to pick up some of these jobs and try to fit in, see where I fit in, I started switching jobs, because at first I was getting paid $7 an hour. And then I was like, I need more. I got paid $8 an hour. I was like, this is nothing. And then I kept searching, fast food jobs, by the way. And then I found this one fast food job that was paying like $10 and 50 cents per hour. I was like, boom, I'll go here. But it was in the most ghetto place you can ever think of. It was in the straight hood. I've seen people overdose and seize out of the mouth. I've seen people get shot, killed in front of me. I was at a gas station right next to my job, and this dude was walking to the store, and this another dude came right beside me. Like, I'm literally watching him shoot the dude in front of me. I'm just like, damn, this is like the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I gotta get out of this. So eventually, I guess you could say, like, a good spirit came into my life, and this person didn't even know who I was. I didn't know who they was, but I asked that person, like, hey, what do you do for a living? Because she had a very nice car. Husband was bust down, chains on and stuff. And I was just like, yo, what do you do for a living? Like, like, what do you do? And she was like telling me about trading and telling me about stocks on Robinhood and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, cool. Whenever I turn 18, that's what I would do. So 18, I ended up picking up my Social Security again, birth certificate, because my foster mom took all that, and she was still collecting taxes and stuff like that. So it was like pretty like a fucked up predicament and stuff. And all this happens, and I'm just like, like, boom, I'm gonna start here. This is where I'm gonna start. 18 is my new start. So then I quit my fast food job, and then I start working at a warehouse job. This warehouse job was paying like $16 an hour. I was getting paid like $16 an hour, so I felt good. I felt like I was leveling up. I'm getting paid like $600-700 a week. Six seven. I'm getting paid like $600, $700 a week, and the money's good. But I'm like, still helping my mom's, but I'm having like maybe $100-200 left over, and I'm trying to use that to trade, because then I started trading, and I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like I put $2 in one time, and it went up a couple cents, 2 cents, and I was like, damn, this is lit. I could make money off my phone. So I started chasing. So I was trying to chase the market with $200, and it wasn't the way to go at all. And I had no experience at all. And doing this, I was just like, okay, maybe I should learn the skill, learn what I'm doing. So as I'm starting to learn, I'm saving some bread on the side, but I also picked up another job. The day that I said I was going to learn, I picked up another job so I could use the second job's money for my trading. So I funded my trading with my second job, and my first job helped my mom with the bills, helped us, whatever the case might be. And I was like, you know what, let me do the second job and save up. So I was saving up that second job's money and putting it into an account. And I'm learning. I'm looking at Twitter, I'm looking at YouTube, I'm trying to learn everything. I'm downloading all this information, which is a bad thing. But in the beginning, you're going to do it regardless, right? You're taking in a bunch of information as a beginner. That's just something you're going to do. But eventually, I ended up starting to lose all that information because it was unnecessary. I still to this day will always fight and tell people that trading is a very easy thing. You just have to, it's you versus you. So anyways, I start this trading thing. I start with 3K. I started with $3,000. And that was the money that I saved up. It took a couple weeks, but I saved up 3,000, and then I started from there. And I used all my knowledge that I had so far, and I was just building, consistently stacking. It was no specific number that I was trying to look for. Oh, let me risk this much so I can make this much. It was more of like, all right, if it's a good trade, I'm gonna put a good position on it and go with the flow, right? I'm always a go with the flow type of guy. Like I've never asked anybody, like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? It was more of like, all right, let me see somebody else do it, and I'm gonna try it. Even though if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna step in the fire just so I can get burned, because I'd rather be burned than still be out there and I'm freezing cold, right? Like that's the type of mindset that I have, and I will always have it. Like if you tell me that jumping off a skyscraper is gonna kill me, I gotta see. I gotta see it for myself. Let me jump, right? That's the type of person I am, and it's a very dangerous thing. But I think it's what got me this far, because I will never hold back. If I feel like something needs to be done, it has to be done. So as all this is happening, I ended up making a few hundred. I think I made like a few hundred my first trade before I had my first $1,000 trade. I forgot how many trades it was of 100 that I had, probably like 4 or 5, and then I got into CEI, and it was like, I gotta start trading this. That was a Camber Energy stock at the time, and it went from like a couple cents to like almost $5, and it was the craziest thing ever. And I made my first 1,000, and I was telling coworkers, and they was just like, oh, that's gambling, oh, that's not gonna be for long, or whatever the case might be, or oh, you're a nerd, or that's for white people. So it was always like, I always think to this day now that no matter what, you're not gonna have unanimous love at all. You're not gonna have that. It's impossible to have unanimous love, and it is what it is. So I kept grinding, I kept pushing, and I'm not gonna go all the way deep into it, but that was just to show you, like, and mind you, when I was working these warehouse jobs, I didn't have a car. Like I didn't have like a car that I can get around in. It was more of like I would just walk to work. And I was walking like 2 hours to work. So my first job was at 7 a.m. So I would get up at 4 a.m., take a shower, go for a run, and then I would just start walking towards work, and it would take an hour and a half to get to work and get in by 7. Once I get in by 7, I do 7 to 7, so a 12-hour shift. Once I do that 12-hour shift, I got 3 hours to make it to my next job that starts at 10, right? So it was like that was my life, and I was doing that. But this time, instead of me not feeling like I was going anywhere in the past, like in the past, I was kind of like, when I was like, 15, 16, and I was working fast food, and it just felt like a circle. And now I kind of had a plan for myself. I had a goal. Like it was like, okay, save up. Once I save up, start compounding my account together and taking what I can from the markets. And with all this being said, like, I feel like everything I've done has truly came from the mindset of not wanting to give up, and having that strong mindset that, hey, I want a good life for myself, so I'm gonna make this shit happen. Like I'm gonna make it happen. I walked to work, 2 hours there, 2 hours for my Walmart job, and it was like, and I was still finding time to bust in a chart, bust in some trading videos, or whatever the case might be. I never made an excuse for anything. I know a lot of people in this game, they make a lot of excuses. Oh, I work this job, or oh, I have kids, so I can't. Bro, there's always a way around something. You just have to actually think about it. This is where critical thinking skills come. because you have to actually think about like, okay, what's my options, what's my possibilities here to get me out of this situation, right? What can I do? And when you think like this, you then like, you're not fearful of life anymore. Once you start thinking in a sense of like, okay, I gotta weigh out my options. Once you find your options and you have them options, you can move a lot smoother because you know, like, okay, if I do this, this outcome might happen. If I do that, this outcome might happen. But at the end of the day, you cannot be upset with the cards that you are dealt in this life, right? A lot of things are going to be random in life. You're going to get thrown a random card one day and you just got to deal with it. Like, you got to get it out your hand, but you got to deal with it. You still got to deal it out, right? You still got to dish that card out. So life is just like that. Like, it's going to be random. It's going to be very uncomfortable. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get that card out your hand. If it's a bad card in your hand messing up your whole stack, you got to get that card out, right? But you can't make an excuse for it. You can't make an excuse for it. Oh, the deck is rigged, or oh, like, you gave me this card. You can't make an excuse for that, right? You have to take it to the chin. Whatever you have to take to the chin, sacrifice that. Oh man, boom, I've been hit in the chin. I gotta eat that. I gotta eat that punch. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Like, after everything that I've been through, and I know there's people out here sleeping in cars, homeless, you know, no lights in the crib, no Wi-Fi. Well, technically, if you're watching this, I think you do have like Wi-Fi, but you go through a lot. I live in Atlanta, bro, so it's like you're gonna hear police sometimes. But yeah, anyways, like, you go through a lot. I just lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. I'm tired. I still got my boxing boots on, bro. Look, I just got done from training. I still got my boots on. I'm tired. But I told you guys I'm posting every day and I'm documenting my process and my mindset. Today I just really want you to understand that my life isn't even that crazy, right? Right? Like, my past life, my childhood, my growing up isn't that crazy. At least not to me. But there's people out here that have it really bad, bro. So you have to really think about that. Like, when you're in the midst of everything, you gotta really think. Like, there's somebody out here that's having it completely bad right now. Somebody probably getting killed right now as we speak. You never know. And it's one of those things where you have to really understand the perspective of life. You cannot make yourself feel like you're the only one having it bad. There's people around you. That's why we build these communities. That's why I want to build you guys, because I want you guys to understand that everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, whether it's good or it's bad. Everybody has a story. And with that story will most likely determine the type of person that you're talking to. So, at the end of the day, I want you guys to remember the mental aspect is to persevere through everything. Understand that you are not the only person going through it. And also, as well, you cannot make yourself the victim. You have to suck that shit up and become the beast that you want to be. You want to be a warrior, be a fucking warrior. Stop acting like only certain people can be warriors, because I kid you not, I never would say that I manifested something, because I was never that guy that believed in my own self. I had no confidence in my own self. I never believed that I could do something, right? So when it came down to it, it was like I was just doing it. Like, I jumped in the fire. I was like, fuck it. If I want to do something, I'm going to just jump in the fire. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm cool, right? You have so much time in life, which doesn't mean be lazy, but you have so many days out of the year that you can utilize. You have over 365 days in a year, and each day you can utilize to do something in your life to help you progress as a human being. So once again, there's no excuse, bro. There's always a way around something. You're gonna have to make a sacrifice regardless. So think about it like that. If you're the type of person that's like, oh, but I do have an excuse, like I have this to handle or I have this to handle, bro, that means you're not willing to sacrifice what you need to sacrifice to get to where you need to be. The thing that you're not trying to sacrifice, you can have it way better once you sacrifice it, right? Let's say if you, I don't know, lost the phone, right? Let's say if somebody told you, okay, I'll teach you how to make 100K, or I'll give you 100K, but you got to throw away your phone. You got to throw that shit out the window. Bro, throw that shit out the window, take the 100, and then buy a new phone. I'm just giving an example. That's the same way you got to think with everything, right? If you know something you got to sacrifice, if you know you got to sacrifice something, but it's going to be for the greater good, then sacrifice that, because you know his life is going to be better later on. That's what you're trying to do. Stop thinking short term, think long term. It's going to be painful, it's going to be stressful, it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. You're going to make excuses, you're going to be losing money, right? All these things are inevitable. Like it's like bound to happen. It's bound to happen. So if you go into the mindset of bound to happen, I'm supposed to lose this, or I'm supposed to like have no expectations. Having expectations is the worst thing, and we'll get into that topic another day, but having expectations is the worst thing you can do as a human being, because you start having expectations and nothing meets your expectations, you're let down, because you see it through your eyes. The way that you see things through your eyes is how you expect it to be, but things are not always what they seem. So at the end of the day, you really have to build this mental game up. No matter what you're going through in life, you will make it. You just have to tell yourself one thing. You have to tell yourself one thing. Am I really built for this? Am I really built for this? Because this is going to burn. It's going to hurt. It's going to make my body sore. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be stressed out. Can I persevere through all of that? Can I still keep my composure and have a poker face and straight face through all this pain, all this hurt, right? I've been where you guys have been. Like, I've been there. Like, I've had no lights in the crib. I had no television. Like, I grew up with no television. These are my first times on social media. Since like 16, I've had a phone. And I really wasn't on social media like that. I think Snapchat was a big thing. But once I turned 18, I was on social media. So all this new stuff is really new to me. I didn't know anything about the IMLs and stuff like that. The scams and shit. Like, I don't know. Still to this day, I barely know anything about it for real. And it was like one of those things where it was like, you really just gotta block out the noise. At the end of the day, you just gotta block out the noise, bro, and really focus. You gotta really focus, bro. Because people will make a lot of excuses, but it's like, do you really want to be where you want to be? Or are you just talking about it? Like, you're like hoping it will just drop in your hands one day. No, bro, you gotta work hard, bro. You gotta work hard. You gotta make good decisions. So with that being said, I have a dinner to attend to. I'm actually a little bit late, but I told you guys that I was gonna post all the time. So as you can see, it is 9:32, bro. And yeah, I'm not in any trades yet. I'm just sitting here, just waiting to see what gold is gonna do. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy your guys' night. Thank you for listening to the rant, and see you guys tomorrow.